Welcome guys to Let's Build a Castle Part 6. We have done some grand builds so far in this series and worked on a range of exteriors and this grand hall interior. And in the last episode we made the massive stairwell. You can see us inside here. But in this episode we're going to build the interior to it, which consists of both of those spiral staircases you can see there. And at the top of the tower I needed something special. I didn't want it to be a waste of space, so I've made it into like almost a king's office, his drawing room, somewhere for him to work, and I feel it works very, very well. So, let's begin. As we open here, we're just going to sharpen off one thing I left out in the last episode, is this little walkway that connects the hall to the tower itself. I just left it a bit bland, a bit empty, and because of the rest of the castle has so much detail, I really can't afford to just leave one bit out. So I just used again the same styles, the same tools, and basically built up the exact same style and just built a bit of a pattern onto the side of the wall just to create that extra bit of detail, and then obviously added in a safety railing because it's quite high up on this hill. Now I've already made the stairwell because I did record it, but it's such a long laborious process to get it right that it didn't really, it wasn't really showable to you guys. So as you see there, the staircase was, it's quite simple in nature, it just took a long time to do. So what we're focusing on today is that room I mentioned earlier, and this is different to any room I've ever created before. In my Lord of the Rings Let's Build, we have we've done the interior of Bag End and the interior of the House of Bayonne and the interior of Rivendell, and they all had very stylistic approaches, but I could reference back to the film for those designs, whereas with this I had to come up with the design myself. So I thought, what sort of room would an office for a king look like? So I kind of arced back to that dead old traditional, very wooden feel. Actually, mahogany is a very expensive wood, and that's something I feel that this cut shade of wood in Minecraft represents well. So imagine this is a huge mahogany room, and something that shows wealth is the fact that when you see a room and it has wooden walls, which is why I went for this design. And then obviously the stone floors had to be carpeted in that red because the red will also look nice with the wood and it won't look cold like the stone did earlier. Up here I just lit it up a bit and correct because that's now kind of out of view, that's out of eyeline sight really, so I didn't feel the need to put wood on all the walls up there because it's just it's a roof there. I feel that's understandable. So here, safety reasons and all that kind of stuff, I've had the big spiral staircase that led up to this spot, and we are going to build doors here. There are going to be doors that will lead off to other bits of the castle on this floor. You can see where I knocked through the window earlier, that's where a door is actually going to be. But for the safety reasons as well, I had to add this in this little spiral staircase, which is in the exact same design as the other spiral staircase, just on a smaller scale. So now, for this to be an office, it obviously needs some sort of furnishing, and this is something in my most recent series, such as the Shire, Bayonne, and now this, I've been practicing furniture. But basically it's become something that's progressing with me because I never made furniture before doing these series. So I created a small desk there and then started working on bookcase. But because I don't work on furniture nearly as much as architecture, it took a much longer time to get that design. So I had to skip that there again. Sorry, because it just took so long to do and it varied so much that the footage just wasn't editable. And I made a much bigger desk here, that kind of, a nice big desk that's side by side. And then what we had to add in was something extra, something that I feel a king would need, which is a balcony. Added this in just to add a bit of variation to the actual build itself, because obviously we've built the inside of the room now, but I thought what else would make this special, something that a king would be proud to work in, and I thought a balcony in which he could stand on and gaze upon his entire kingdom. Because the window I positioned it in here, he can look out across the entrance of his castle, and where I imagine his kingdom would lie would be at the front of the castle. So from here you can see all over that, and I just feel that that'd be something quite grand and quite impressive you'd expect from the king's office. So just building up that using again the exact same styles, I feel that works incredibly nicely as a little balcony. Just need to add in a door now to prevent any drafts or all that kind of stuff. And basically that is the end of this episode. I know it's been incredibly quick, this episode, guys, but this episode I didn't feel would fit in with any other episodes, so I wanted it to kind of stand alone. So as you see his balcony looking over the entrance there, and as we go into here you can see his grand office now, that huge bookcase. I feel I didn't linger on it enough with the camera, so just pause, you know, the different frames if you want to get an intricate look at stuff. And I feel this office just echoes that grand feel you'd expect for a king's office. As you see there on the balcony we can gaze upon the kingdom, and now he has this huge desk here for doing any sort of work, and I feel that bookcase is so big it could hold any information you'd expect to have of his kingdom. As you see, that's the door I mean here, so in a later episode that'll be a door that'll lead onto bridges which will lead onto other parts of the castle, such as the king's quarters, because I feel the king's quarters have to be local to his office so we can quickly access them. In the next episode I feel we're going to come to the bottom of the tower and work on a dock area next to that river. But this is the very end of this episode, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and look out for the next episode coming as soon as possible. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and goodbye. Mwah!